And we are live. Welcome to the original non-combined between Better Call Saul and The Walking Dead. This is Walking Dead only, the Webcasting Dead, Season 9, Episode 2, The Bridge. Oh man, that was a tough one to get through. Tough one as in, it's for me, it feels to me like it's becoming a chore to watch this show.
It is. It
You know,
is.
I'm getting Walking Dead fatigue, and we're just in the second episode. The first, I mean, it's a good episode. It's not great. It's just kind of, it wasn't good. It was good. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It was kind of in the middle. Just like
Yeah.
episode one. I mean, episode one, it was in the middle. I mean, the ending was great. I thought it was great with Gregory. I know we had some technical difficulties last week and we try to get our thoughts and opinion on this. So let's just kind of recap what happened last week because of technical difficulties. Gregory was hung at the end of the episode, which I thought was great. The visual was great. The scene was well executed and everything. And
Yeah.
now compared to the ending of this episode, I was like, really, really, So let's
Yeah.
let's go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and spoil it. So in the ending, you have an ex-savior walking down this road, and we see a point of view shot. And it seems like this savior knows this dude that's after him, and he tackles him, and he's after him. I'm like, why the point of view shot? I did not like that shot at all. I thought they could have done maybe a wide shot and maybe have the figure in the back in a background somewhere, and you can't hardly see him. And the guy walks up to him, and then just out of nowhere, he just is gone. Maybe that's how I would have done it. But the point of
Yeah.
view shot, it just seems so forced, so tacky for me anyway. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. That savior's name is Justin, by the way. He's
Mhm.
yeah. He's the newest troublemaker on the block, as it were, because
Yeah.
and he's a new character for this season. He has not been in any
Mhm.
of the previous seasons, so this is a
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, I haven't seen him either. So yeah. So it seems to me they're going to go to. He's going to be a part of the Whisperers because that's it's
perhaps.
got to be that's the Indian. It's got to be the Whisperers coming in.
That's always entirely a possibility. And I
Hmm.
agree with you about it being a chore to get through The Walking Dead. I mean,
Hmm.
it's not like that with Better Call Saul. Better Call Saul, it
Yeah.
moves. I mean, the storylines
Yeah.
are very crisp, and they move along very well. The pacing is
Hmm.
great.
Hmm. Yeah, and the
But
first two episodes. I mean, it's the first two episodes. It starts slow, it picks up, and then slows down again, and then pick back up at the end. It's
yeah,
like, try to have a consistent speed throughout the whole episode.
yeah, yeah. The basic. I was gonna say the basic. I don't want to say gist, but the
Just a
basic.
minute. Someone's at my door. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. The basic plot line of this episode is, they're trying to build that bridge, the bridge that they came across in the premiere episode, and it's they got the saviors largely working on it, but there's this one guy, Justin, who he wants all the water. He's given some water by young Henry, the young boy that is being raised by Carol and Ezekiel, whose brother was killed in season 7 by one of the saviors. I can't remember the name of that, which savior it was, but it was one of the saviors. He was, I can't remember his name though. But so basically, he he wants all the water in the jug. So he shoves Henry down and then takes all the water in the jug. So Henry takes his staff and trips the guy up, trips Justin up, and Justin falls.
All right, I'm back.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I was just talking about. the basic premise of this episode is they're building, or they're trying to repair this bridge,
Mm-hmm.
and we see this Justin guy take more water than he's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And he shoves young Henry down. Henry just gets up, uses his staff, and trips Justin up.
No, that was kind of badass for Henry.
Yeah,
I gotta agree. That was great.
it
That was great
was.
to
Yeah.
see Henry, stand up for himself like that.
Hmm.
And I like that he's still wearing Morgan's getup and having the
Hmm.
staff. I think that was great.
Yes, I thought that was terrific too. Another one of the saviors points out, "Hey, don't feel bad. I got beat up by a kid once. Of course, I was 8 years old." But and then there's a storyline where we see Aaron kind of supervising a few saviors,
Mm-hmm.
and they're chopping, they're cutting logs
Mm-hmm.
that they're going to be using to repair the bridge. And they've also got code words worked out. They call the Walker herds different things. Like one of them calls one Walker herd, I forget what they call them. But like Tara was up in a cherry picker.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow they found a cherry picker. I don't know where they found it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I do like the code names that Tara gave to
Uh huh.
Rick, Mother Goose. I
Yeah.
thought that was funny. I thought that was funny. I mean, there's some good parts in these episodes. It's just that the pacing of these episodes is just a chore to
Yeah.
watch, and I don't think, and it shouldn't be like that.
But the one thing they were doing was they were attempting to divert
Hmm.
Walker herds. They were diverting Walker herds, these Walker herds,
Yeah.
and one of them was supposed to be diverted away from where Aaron was. It
Hmm.
was Justin. Justin was supposed to. And it was actually Jerry was using an old air raid siren,
Hmm.
like an old siren, like an air raid siren to divert those walkers.
Hmm.
Now I like Jerry. Jerry's a great. I like Jerry on the show. He and that Muslim girl fell in love apparently.
Yeah, we see some more relationships blossom in this. We got Anne and Father Gabriel. Seems like they're going to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good scene between the two.
Yes.
And then we see that Carol punts the ring on from King Ezekiel.
Yeah.
I'm coining that as the moment of Queen Carol.
Yes.
So there might be a wedding in the future.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, and what happened was a Walker herd shows up. Now Daryl is supervising all this.
Hmm.
He's one of the supervisors over everything that's going on in this area.
Yeah.
With the bridge repair and everything. And he kind of takes it upon himself, kind of, you might say, discipline Justin a little bit.
Hmm.
But what happens is the herd that was supposed to be diverted away from Aaron and his group didn't quite work out that way, unfortunately. And what happened was a bunch of logs fell on Aaron's left arm and crushed him.
Hmm.
Now Sadiq was training Enid in
Hmm.
some basic medical skills. So they managed to retrieve Aaron, get rid of the walkers. Daryl with 2 knives. I'm like, whoa.
Hmm.
They're superheroing him out, I think. I don't know. I don't know if I like that too much. I prefer a vulnerable Daryl,
Hmm.
as
Yeah,
opposed to.
I love the whole sequence of that, of the them defending off the Walker herd. I thought that was a great sequence, especially when they cut the ropes of the logs and the logs started rolling down and running over the Walkers. I thought that was
Oh yeah,
executed
that
well.
was a good scene. I like that too. That was a
Hmm.
good scene. I agree with you on that. But Aaron's left arm gets crushed. They had to take him to the encampment. Enid
Mhm.
has to amputate Aaron's left arm. So,
Mhm.
but Aaron manages. But Aaron does survive. He doesn't
Yeah, he
die.
does survive, and I'm
He
wondering
does
if
survive.
his arm is amputated. Is his arm amputated in the comics?
Well, gosh, I don't know. Now, I do know that Rick's right hand was chopped off by the governor in the
Hmm.
comics.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not sure about Aaron as far as whether his arm is amputated in the comics or not. So,
See, I've been hearing some things that they're saying that Aaron might take over Rick's role, and that's why they gave
yeah,
him the whole chopping of the arm.
yeah, I saw Trev's Chan 2's video about that. He was talking about, is there a possibility that
Hmm.
they're grooming Aaron to be the leader? And yeah, Trev's Chan 2's videos are really well done. He does a
Hmm.
lot of analysis on the different episodes and all that. And let's see,
Yeah.
but yeah, so we see Aaron's arm amputated,
Hmm.
and I have to say that's about the only. Well, also, there's just not a whole lot going. I hate to say this, but there's not a whole lot going on in this episode. There's just
Yeah.
not, other
I
than a
mean,
few highlights here and there.
yeah, exactly. And that's the same way with the other episode. And not a lot really went on except for the whole run that they did and the hanging of Gregory. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that was the two major storylines in the whole episode. And then in this episode, they're building the bridge, and then at the end, the dude gets kidnapped or abducted by some person, and that's mainly it.
Oh, and the helicopter shows up because
Yeah, the helicopter. Yeah, yeah.
Anne or Jadis was up in the Sherry Picker at night,
Hmm.
and we hear the helicopter.
Hmm.
Now, you see, that was the same helicopter I think she was going to use, I believe. She had
Yeah.
a helipad near the what do you call it, the junkyard apparently.
Hmm.
So, but gosh, this episode was just it was meh, meh.
Yeah.
It
But
really was.
yeah, and then we had Brett Butler come back and return as Tammy,
Yeah,
and she wanted to see Earl,
Earl. Yeah.
and Maggie lets her after Maggie went and talked to Earl.
Hmm.
Maggie lets her, and then Maggie also was talking about having with Michonne about having some laws in place so that situations of Earl and Negan and Gregory won't happen again.
Right. Yeah. Oh,
Let's see.
yeah, but yeah, and she actually allows Earl out of his cell, supervised,
Mhm.
to build to repair the plow. They have
Yeah, as the blacksmith. He's the blacksmith.
because he's the blacksmith. Yes, and also yes, we do see Rick talk to Negan.
Hmm.
That's another thing.
Yeah, we
That
see it
that to
in this.
me,
Yeah,
that was the highlight of the episode.
yeah,
That right there.
absolutely. That right there was the highlight. I wish, yeah, because we see him in the teaser talking to someone in the cell, and it was Negan the whole time. And
Mhm.
so, and then it shows the, basically the teaser of what we got over the summer. You're just preparing the world for me. You're
Uh-huh.
not saving this world, Rick. You're just getting it ready for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it in this episode. I mean it was not a lot of stuff there, and the rest of it is just filler. I mean,
Uh-huh.
it's like
It was just bleh.
you
You know.
and you can tell when I paid by AMC to tell you this.
Yeah.
but it's so. And I was gonna bring this up last week, but with the technical difficulties, we didn't have time. But the first episode of the season, the ratings came in, and it was low.
It was the lowest rating. It was the lowest rated premiere for The Walking
Yeah,
Dead
yeah,
since they started.
yeah.
I mean, those numbers were not good. Were not good at
Hmm.
all for The Walking Dead for the season premiere.
Yeah, and
And
then
for some strange reason, I mean, I have to say this though. I like the season premiere more than I like last week's episode.
hmm yeah,
I like the season premiere more because it was establishing the new world. It was establishing that, you know, things have gone on in the last year and a half. And this is
hmm
what's going on now. Now, interestingly enough, last week's episode was also a time jump of over a month.
yeah, yeah. And it seems
So,
like last week's episode was pretty low too. They said it the audience of 5 million, which is a drop from 19% of the season opener.
yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean the ratings isn't looking pretty good in this, and plus
What
also if you have, I guess it's called AMC Prime or something like that, Premium,
premiere?
Premiere.
AMC premiere.
Yeah, they have all the episodes of The Walking Dead on that webcam on the it's like Netflix on there. So I'm wondering if how many of that is people watching beforehand and not watching as soon as it happens.
But one thing that Maggie said, which I thought was interesting, was that she kind of felt a little bit of a, you might say, a kinship with Earl because Earl had drinking problems and
Yeah.
Herschel had drinking problems. Her father, you know,
Hmm.
not the baby folks, not Herschel, not baby Herschel,
Yeah. Her dad.
her dad, yeah.
Yeah.
But but you know, the thing is, if indeed whatever they did with Rick, and I hope they don't kill him, but I mean they're pointing in that direction that they're killing him off.
Yeah.
If they kill him off, I'm done. I'm done with the show. I'm sorry. I'm done with it.
I gotta agree with you right there. I don't see the series lasting after Rick. I mean, Rick is the heart of the show. I mean, as much as I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Negan, I'm probably going to have to tap out. You know, it's speaking in wrestling talk. You know, I got the ankle lock on my ankle, and I'm just getting ready to tap, man. I'm just getting ready to tap, and
I
it's like,
know
and it shouldn't be like that. It should be
no.
fun. It should be an enjoyable experience. So here's the plan that I have, and I'm gonna run this by you. I'm thinking about after episode five, not do the webcasting dead anymore, and only do it if it's maybe at the season finale or the mid season, and just do like do it for the opening when Rick dies, mid season, and then season finale.
I
That
think that's
is.
good. Yeah, that's a good
Because I
plan.
mean, because it's not a lot. There's nothing to talk about. I mean, they haven't done nothing quite yet, you know. So we'll continue up to season five, and then stop, and then do the mid season. That is if we last for the mid season. If we last, I'm gonna give it. You know what?
You mean
I'm gonna
wait,
give it to the
wait,
mid season.
you mean episode 5?
Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna talk episode 3, 4, and 5, and then stop after 5 and just do mid
Yeah,
season and then season finale.
yeah. There you go.
So I'm going to give them until the mid season finale to do something to bring me back in. And if they don't, then I'm going to tap out at the mid season finale. It's like I want to compare because this ending again, this ending just was so awful. It was so bad, and point of view shots can be good. I mean, they need to take a page out of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul to learn how to do point of view shots. But the point of view shot reminded me so much of the season 6 finale with Negan. That's how bad it was. And it shouldn't be like that. And like I said, the way I would have done it
Yeah.
was have the wide shot, have some dude in the background, you can't see him, have Justin walk up to him, and then boom, he's gone. He's like gone, disappeared in the middle of the night. That's how I would have done it.
Well,
But go ahead, Henry.
let me ask you, how would you compare the mid-season finale of season 6 to this ending, the way they ended this? I have to say, even though that ending, the season finale, really
Mhm.
we didn't like that ending as much.
Mhm.
I would take an ending like that, the end of
Yeah.
season 6, over what we saw last week.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was just thinking to myself, the way I would have ended season 6 was not even to do the point of view shot. I would have ended it as soon as Negan said, and you, or after he does that rhyme, I would have just cut the black. I would have done the point of view shot. I would have not done, hearing the crack of the bat or anything. I would have just cut the black and then roll the credits. I think that's how they should have done it, was just cut the black.
Yeah, I agree.
But like you said, I would have took the season 6 finale ending over what we got in episode 2, and tonight. Geez.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. So, all right. So I'm trying to think if we got anything.
I would say this episode had some good points, but unfortunately, a lot of the bad outweighed a lot of the good. So I'm going to give this episode. I'm going to score it. If I were to score the season premiere, I like the season premiere. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree with that because the ending with the hanging of Gregory, I think saved it. I think if they did not end it, if they ended on something else, it would have been probably at least a 4, 5 at the most.
But the second episode, I'm giving it a 4. It was just.
Yeah.
There were some good. I'm not saying there were any. I'm not saying there weren't good moments.
Yeah.
In episode 2, there were.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, we talked about a few of those. I mean, the whole sequence of the herd and the whole logs, and them trying to fight off the herd. I thought that was great. Mm-hmm. It seems like this whole episode, or these 2 episodes, are just like. Of course, they were directed by 2 different people, but this second episode, it looked like someone directed the first half, and then someone else took over midways and directed a second half. It looked like 2 different shows. It's like 2 different shows.
Oh, and by the way, Greg Nicotero, as I mentioned, is directing the 5th episode, which is titled "What Comes After."
Oh yeah, and I think they should have gotten him a showrunner, Greg Nicotero. Not to knock Angela Kang or anything, but I think it would have been in better hands if Greg Nicotero got it, because he knows exactly what to do. And he directed the hell out of the first episode last week, and it was a good episode. I mean, it was not written pretty. It wasn't written well, but it was directed the hell. I mean, like the whole highlight of the whole hanging of Gregory. I thought that was directed excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And then I love the whole sequence of them trying to bring that buggy down the steps with the glass floor, and I love that. I mean, it was great. But go ahead, Henry.
Now, interestingly enough, the 7th episode of the season is going to be directed by Michael Cudlitz. Now, those who don't know who Michael Cudlitz is, that's Abraham.
Oh yes, interesting.
He is directing the 7th episode of the season. And he is on a show right now titled The Kids Are All Right, which is set in the 70s. He plays the dad on that show. So, but he's going to be directing the 7th episode of the season.
Awesome. Oh, have you seen the commercials with Abraham and Eugene? Uh, Abraham's on the couch and Eugene's like the psychiatrist, and they're talking about the Walking Dead game.
Yeah.
These
I
are great
saw that
commercials.
one. That one
Those
was
are great
pretty funny.
commercials.
Yeah, that one is pretty funny. Yeah, director of season 9. Let's see now. I mean, we did see Abraham, in season 7, the end of season 7 in a flashback.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see now. Season 9. I'll look up the name of the episode that Michael Cudlitz is directing.
Stradivarius, right? Episode 7.
Stradivarius. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yes, you found it
Yeah, I have
before
the
I
list
did.
up. I have the list up right here. Yeah, so the first 8 episodes, A New Beginning, which was last week's, 2 weeks ago, the first episode. The Bridge, which was last week's. Warning Signs is tomorrow.
That's
The
tomorrow night.
Oblige is next week.
What
What
comes
comes
after?
after? Who Are You Now? Stradivarius and Evolution.
Yeah. And Evolution will be on November 25th. That'll be right after Thanksgiving, so that'll be Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. So,
as I mentioned, Greg Nicotero is the director of episode 5.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good director since it's Rick's last episode. Again, I don't understand why they're killing him off on the 5th episode. I would have waited to the mid-season finale to kill him off. I would have waited.
Yeah.
Waited.
Now, Lauren Cohen, apparently, I mean, there really still isn't. I thought there was some news about her staying on, well, not staying on, but like coming back in season 10, but there's been no confirmation of that.
Yeah, they said Maggie, I think Maggie's going to be leaving after the 6th episode, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Was it the 6th or the mid-season?
I don't remember.
Because I
believe they said scheduled. I believe they said that she was going to be in 6 episodes in the first half of the season.
All right, so probably after the 6th one then.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so they said they're going to write her off somehow and maybe bring her back. I mean, here's the thing: they're kill
not.
Her off.
We already know they're not killing Maggie off. We already know that.
Yeah. They're just writing her character off until that whole situation gets, figured out about.
Well, yeah, Lauren Cohen's filming a series called Whiskey Cavalier, which airs on ABC.
Mm-hmm.
So, is she going to be able to split her time between that and Walking Dead?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'll just say it's going to make a. Apparently, yes, she has sought a pay increase from AMC given her high demand from other networks. Yeah. While she had signed on to star in a new series, Whiskey Cavalier, for the ABC network, this contract would still enable her to participate on The Walking Dead in a limited role. In April, Cohen confirmed she signed on for the 9th season, only for 6 episodes. Now, I don't know, but it doesn't indicate. It does not indicate here if she's going to be on for 6 episodes in the first half, or is that the whole season overall?
Mm-hmm.
So I really don't know what that is indicating. What
yeah.
Because it doesn't say if she's going to be on. 6 episodes total for the whole season, mm-hmm. or only 6 episodes in the first half of the season.
Yeah.
Oh wait, but here's some more about Lauren Cohen. Lauren Cohen also announced this would be her last season of the series, appearing in the first 6 episodes as Maggie Green before her departure. Alongside other acting commitments, Cohen felt she had become too comfortable in the role and it was time to move on. She appreciated the opportunity to explore Maggie in her last few episodes. So it looks as if, yes, this is going to be her final season.
Yeah, that's kind of weird because they need a. I'm surprised they haven't said anything about that. Make that confirmation by AMC. So it seems like Rick and Maggie might be. Rick definitely is going to die. No question about it. He's going to die. It seems like Maggie might be dying too.
No, I don't. I don't think they're going to kill Maggie off. I think they are going to write her off.
Hmm.
I haven't seen any indication that they're going to kill her off. I could be wrong. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that I'm completely right about everything. I could be
Hmm.
completely incorrect. So, and we saw in the previews for tomorrow night's episode that Maggie was running with an Asian fellow. That's not Glenn.
It's not Glenn. Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know who that dude is.
I have no idea. I
And they
think,
get.
and
Go ahead.
I'm looking at the Wikipedia page for Walking Dead season 9. I think his name is Cal. He's played by an actor named James Chin,
Hmm.
who is obviously Asian. So that may be who that is. A member of the Hilltop, but I don't know. Now we have seen Cindy from Oceanside. We've seen her
Hmm.
on the first 2 episodes. She was on this last episode. Oh, it was her grandmother. Okay, Natalia was her grandmother. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the one that Enid shot.
Enid shot. Yeah,
Yeah.
Enid shot and killed her. Yeah. I think Enid kind of panicked, and that's why she did that.
Hmm. Yeah.
But we are seeing one good thing that I'm seeing. I'm glad we're seeing Sadiq at least a little bit more.
Hmm. Yeah, and I like how Sadiq took Enid under his wing
Hmm.
to basically help with the medical necessary medical stuff. So I thought that
Yeah.
was great.
Oh yeah, Aaron did mention about raising his adopted daughter Gracie. We haven't seen Gracie,
Yeah, we haven't seen Gracie.
but apparently he is still raising her.
So
Jeez.
that's yeah. Let's
Yeah.
see. So now I'm reading here about the possible way Maggie may exit.
Uh huh.
And the whole scene between Maggie and Jesus about uh, her trying to join Georgie, so maybe they
Oh
can write her
yeah.
off like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I just thought about that.
Have her join Georgie's group and not see her, and until they figure out until what they do with her. So I think that would probably be the best if they're going to go that route.
I think that's what they're going to do. I think they are just going to send her over there with Georgie and them. Yeah. So some cool stuff. Yeah. So that may be the way they explain her
Mm-hmm.
absence. While Lauren Cohen is filming Whiskey
Yeah.
Cavalier.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of that, where's Georgie? We saw her once and she's gone.
Yeah,
So
I would
are we
love to
going to
see
see
them.
her again?
I would love to see them bring her back at least for one episode. Yeah, she
Yeah,
and her group.
I mean, come on.
I thought they were very interesting. They really
Hmm.
was. They really were very interesting characters.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I mean, like I said, hopefully these episodes will get better. I don't know if they will, but
Yeah, I hope they do. I hope they do. So I'm trying to think. So any predictions for tomorrow?
ah, shoot. Well, let's see. I obviously, I think they're going to continue to advance the storyline leading up to Rick's departure from the show.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when are we going to see the Whisperers? That's what I'm wondering
Yeah.
about. And could it have been a Whisperer that took Justin? Who knows?
Well, clearly Justin knew who he was, knew the guy.
Yeah. Well, remember they did mention that several of the not Whisperers, Saviors actually went off on their own. Remember, there were supplies they took off with.
Yeah.
And that was a problem for Maggie because, remember, Maggie is providing supplies for the sanctuary and providing food and all that.
The big question is that is The Walking Dead, are they going to follow up with Justin's storyline tomorrow night, or are they going to like drag it out like they usually do? That's the question. Because they end it with cliffhanger, and then you know how sometimes they end something with a cliffhanger and they drag it out. I wonder if they're going to do that with the whole missing Justin.
Yeah, that's a good question. And I mean, but they can take lessons from Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. Even with a hey, they knew how to resolve a cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely knew how to resolve a cliffhanger. Heck, the X-Files knew how to resolve a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I just don't know. I can't explain why this show is so stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
It's like let me and Henry take over this freaking show. We'll make it freaking awesome. You want ratings? We'll give you the freaking ratings. You know, we'll get like 100 million people watching.
We would, yeah. But I mean, it's just I don't know. This season has just been so.
It's this.
So
I can't
far,
put my finger on it, but this season, and I know we're only 2 episodes in, we're quick to judge, but there's something about this season seems different, you know.
mm-hmm.
And I think it's probably because we know it's going to be Rick's last season. You know, it's going to be Rick's last season. I think we know that, and it's like, do we really want to? Do we really want to continue on this journey without Rick going forward? Yeah. And here's the thing: if they need another Rick, a Rick-like figure, and I'm not saying that he needs to be a carbon copy of Rick, but you know, at least have a Rick-type figure so they can have a strong leader and a good leader to move this show and group forward, because so that we can see what goes on beyond Rick. If you guys understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, make it compelling. I mean, but it seems like the show's been on the air. This is its 9th season. It's really starting to. It's really, how shows start to jump the shark, as it were.
Yeah.
If a show's been on the air for a long time, sometimes it just the quality goes absolutely downhill.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see that happen with Walking Dead.
And it's getting to the point that it is. And the thing is, it's based on comic books, and the comic books is still continuing on. And the reason why the comic books is still popular is because, you know, they can do stuff in a comic book they can't do in a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, season 8, I think season 8 should have ended, or maybe it should have ended after the first. They should have ended it like as soon as Negan is defeated, have like the very first half of episode 1 from season 9 tagged on at the end of that episode after Negan is defeated. And then that could have been a great series finale right there. You know, Negan's defeated, everyone's rebuilding, and boom, that's it. End of show. I think that maybe it's pushing it too far or not pushing it enough, but I think that would have been a good way to end it.
Yeah, but it seems like they want to drag this out and say, well, and Trez Chant asked the question, or somebody asked him, because he has Q&As on his channel also for Walking Dead, and somebody asked, was it a mistake for AMC to promote this season as the final one for Rick Grimes? And I have to say, I think it was.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. And the reason why is that we know he's going to die, and we know the exact episode he's going to die in. And AMC, I think, kind of dropped the ball on this one. They dropped the ball on it. They should have not advertised that Andrew Lincoln is quitting after this season or leaving after this season. What they should have done was say I think they should have said that, yeah, after this season this will be Andrew Lincoln's final season, but they shouldn't say that Rick is going to die in this season. They shouldn't say that what episode he's going to die in. They should have kept all that a secret. Make us want to watch the show and make us want to watch which episode he dies in. They should have, not promote it as his final episodes.
Now,
Because that was
the reason that I know that what episode it is because Greg Nicotero said, yes, I directed the final episode for Rick Grimes. Well, that's episode 5, which is what comes after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's on the Wikipedia page too that this is Andrew Lincoln's final episode, Rick Grimes' final episode.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I have to say they should have kept that as a mid-season finale. I think it would have been better as the mid-season finale. Because see what here, episode 8 should have been Rick Grimes' death, and then episode 9 should be okay. What do we do now? Our leader is dead. Who should be in charge? That's how they should have continued the second half of the season. Is have these people maybe get into an argument or something, get into fights saying, no, I should be in charge of this group. No, I should be in charge. And then you maybe have like Michonne or Father Gabriel or someone as the moral compass of the show and say, hey, you know what? This is not what Rick wanted. This is not what Carl wanted. They wanted peace and we're not giving it to them. Have it a struggle between these groups after Rick dies. Have a struggle become the main focus in the second half of the season between all these groups, and then have someone come in and say, hey, you know what? Let me take the reins of Rick's leadership, and we're going to pump this back on track, and we're going to do it for Rick.
Mm-hmm. I mean, personally, I think The Walking Dead is going to. I think the show itself is going to fall apart after the death of Rick. And I agree with you. They should have waited till the mid-season finale. Why do it at over the halfway point of the mid-season? Why do it then?
Yeah. But yeah, I'm definitely going to watch. I think it's going to be a good episode of Rick's death because there's going to be a lot of cameos and callbacks in that episode. And we do know for a fact that John Berthenol, Scott Wilson, and all these other people is coming back to reprise their roles in some sort of maybe a hallucination, a dream sequence, or something during Rick's death.
Well, it's Sneaker Martin Green, Scott Wilson, R.I.P., and John Bernthal. They're the three who are going to appear as their characters. They're going to appear as Herschel and Sasha and Shane.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's really unfortunate, though, to see the fall of a great show. Imagine if Breaking Bad had become like this, or Better Call Saul. They wouldn't have been nearly the compelling shows that they are.
Yeah, the best part about Breaking Bad is that they knew when to end it. They knew exactly when to end it. But the problem is that AMC, is trying to milk it for all they can. Mm-hmm. And when we talked about this, I'm like, okay, fine. AMC, if you want to do this Walking Dead universe, which is, what Scott Gimple wants for some God knows reason, have it like, have Fear of the Walking Dead, all right, with the new cast of characters, and The Walking Dead, and then, have like another episode, another series like, Return of the Walking Dead or Revenge of the Walking Dead or something like that, but focus it on different people. Don't focus on Carol or Daryl or anybody like that. Focus on different groups of people in these different areas and branch out. Don't stay in like, wherever they're at. I think they're in Virginia now. Don't stay in Virginia, branch out to, different parts of the country, do it like that.
Well, I mean,
Go.
that's what Morgan. Morgan has gone on to Fear the Walking Dead, which is set in Texas.
Yeah. I would like to see maybe an Albuquerque edition of The Walking Dead. I think that would be fun. But it's like it's a cash cow and they're trying to milk it, and the milk is running dry. AMC, the milk is running dry on this.
Yeah, it is. It's unfortunate to see it too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hope that tomorrow night they will resolve the issue with Justin and
Yeah, I do too.
who it was that tackled him. But as you mentioned, sometimes Walking Dead drags this crap out.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how they're going to do it. But again, I mean, episode 5, that's going to be it for me, except for the mid-season finale and the season finale.
Yeah, so let's try to recap of what my plan is. So what we're going to do is continue on with the Webcasting Dead up until episode 5. So we're going to end it at episode 5 and then come back for the mid-season finale. And then come back for the mid-season premiere. And then come back, then go away for the next couple of weeks and then come back at the season finale.
Right, yeah.
So instead of, discussing all these episodes, individually, discuss the first one, the midpoint, and then for the second half, the first one, and then the final, the midpoint, and then the finale.
You know what I don't understand is how can 411 Mania give the last week's episode a 9 out of 10? It was terrible, except for the points that I mentioned.
9 out of 10.
Somebody at 411mania.com.
Oh my gosh! How do you get a 9 out of a 10 out of that episode? I mean, that's what. They're definitely getting paid by AMC for that.
I think they rated the season premiere an 8.5 out of 10, which is that is a little more justified.
Yeah,
I think for the season premiere, because the season premiere had some good moments. The season premiere was. I really enjoyed the season premiere much more than I enjoyed last week's episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. But a 9 out of 10, how do you get? I don't know how they get that.
I know.
9 out of 10 for this episode.
It was a horrible. I won't say it was a horrible episode, but I mean they've done better.
Yeah, I mean it could have been better, and it's like, okay, we're seeing the beginning stages of them rebuilding themselves, and that's fine, but make it entertaining. Don't make it like, something boring. It's a good. I mean, it had its moments. Episode 2 did, and I mean, it had its moments. Aaron getting his hand cut off. I mean, that was a moment. The whole, fighting off the walkers at the lumber mill, I guess you can call it, because that's where they were at. And that was a good moment. The whole talks between Negan and Rick, I love that. And again, as much as I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Negan, it's like, you bet. It's like, I think maybe we're used to having Negan entertain us from last season and season 7, and that the very first 2 episodes, the first episode we didn't see Negan at all. The second episode we caught a glimpse of him and he said a few words. It's like, are we going to see Negan again? It's like, bring back Negan to save this show. I think Negan's the only one that can save it. Negan's the only dude that can save it.
We've seen more of Negan in for those who have Dish, we've seen more of him in that Dish commercial than we have all season.
I know. It's like, man. Like, you know what? I wouldn't be if. Why didn't they open up the beginning of the season with Rick and Negan talking? I think that's right there. Right there could have been the season opener. Rick and Negan talking in the cell. I think that would have been great.
I think
But they,
that
they
would have
didn't.
added. I think that would have added a
Yeah,
little bit more to the season premiere. If you ask me.
yeah, yeah. They could have used it as a teaser.
They
They
could
could
have.
have that whole sequence of Rick and Negan talking in episode 2. They could have pumped that at the beginning of episode 1 as the teaser and used that as the moment where Rick recaps what happened in those 18 months, and then ended on the line of "You getting it ready for me, Rick." And then boom, that would have been epic. It seems like, and I don't know who edits the show, I don't know who does the show, but it seems like they're like, editing in the wrong places, and they're like having scenes in the wrong places at the wrong times at the wrong moments.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you on
AMC, hire us.
that.
We'll save this
Yeah.
show. The only catch is that Scott Gimple cannot be around that show at all. I
And
mean, he
he
can't.
and
He
he
can't.
and he is the
Go ahead.
co-writer. He is the co-writer for the script for
That
episode
right there
5.
makes me nervous for
What
episode
comes
5.
after? Yeah, the episode what comes
'Cause
after. Even though it's directed by Greg Nicotero, and we've always
yeah,
given Greg Nicotero's direction high marks.
yeah,
He's always done well with directing episodes.
hmm yeah. But see, the writing is what reflects the directing, and but yeah, Scott Gimple, geez, that's what's making me nervous is that knowing that Scott Gimple is having what to do with Rick's death, and I heard that Andrew Lincoln wrote Rick's death and how it should be drawn out. And I hope they used every bit of what Andrew Lincoln wrote. If he did wrote Rick's death,
That
but
wouldn't be a bad thing.
yeah, it wouldn't. But yeah, Scott Gimple writing that episode is making me makes me a little nervous because I'm not too keen of Scott Gimple. I think he's the one that's running the show into the ground. To be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
And it seems like he ruined the Fear the Walking Dead.
He did,
So,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, but let's see here. I'm trying to think if we. I don't think we left anything out. I mean, I think we
No.
got all the key points of what's going to happen tomorrow. Every season when we do this season, when we do predictions, it's like, okay, we can kind of guess where they're going to go, but this season it's kind of hard for predictions. I don't know where they're going to go. I have no clue where they're going to go next episode. We do know that Maggie and this Asian dude is going to be stopped by probably a ex-savior, maybe what appears to be an ex-savior, and I think that's all the tease we got. But I don't know where they're going to go from here. And tomorrow night's episode is warning signs.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Because again, really, are they going to? Are they going? How are they going to do this?
Mm-hmm.
As far as obviously, we're going to see kind of what you might call. We're going to see hopefully, we'll see all this stuff come together.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, it'll be something cohesive.
Yeah, and we keep saying this. Episode 1 and 2, it has some of its moments, but the rest of it is bland. And I hope it's not the way next week, tomorrow night. I hope it's not bland. I hope they do, pull a really good episode out of their hat.
That's what I'm hoping for. Because I mean, I'm hanging on until episode 5. That's what I'm doing. I'm hanging on.
I'm gonna hang on until the mid-season finale. But maybe episode 5 probably will change my opinion about should I continue. Should I continue? Because here's the thing, it's like again, like I stated at the top of the hour, it's like it's become a chore to watch, and it should not be like that. It should be fun to watch. I know how different genres the shows are, but going back to Better Call Saul, it's enjoyable to watch. It's like, okay, you know what? We know that Jimmy's going to become Saul. However, I know it's going to be a slow transition, and I'm prepared for this slow transition. And then, boom! At the season finale, he's automatically Saul Goodman. We know he's going to be Saul in season 5, guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. Well, but what I like about Better Call Saul is it's the progression, it's the journey, it's the
Yeah.
what the steps that are taken. How does he become Saul?
Mm-hmm.
And really, if you think about it, Better Call Saul is the story of 2 transitions. The one transition is Jimmy, the other is Mike. The journey of Mike.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we stated this in the Saul Goodcast. This is not the same Mike in Breaking Bad in Better Call Saul as we see in Breaking Bad. This is a completely different Mike, and we got to see Mike's transition from a pretty good guy to a cold-blooded killer who will kill for Gus if there's anything in their way.
I think we saw the beginnings of that in the season finale.
Yeah, I agree.
And I mean the way they handled his journey, and Jonathan Banks acted so well. He acted so well. Mm-hmm. The way that they handled his journey was really, I thought, was just top notch. Mm-hmm. It was great.
I hate to bring up the being Captain Obvious here, but this is a Walking Dead show, and we still talking about Better Call Saul, and it ended last week. I mean, that's how good the freaking show is. It's like, why can't The Walking Dead take a page out of that book? It's like, ugh. But yeah, I'm going to hang on to the mid-season finale. Episode 5 may change that, or maybe even episode 6 might change it. Going out, because see, we know that episode 5 Rick is going to die. But coming out of episode 5, episode 6 might be just downright awful, and it's like, seriously, they went there. But yeah, I mean, I think we going back, I think we discussed all the main key points in this episode. Again, nothing really happened. It's like it was, and there wasn't any deaths in this episode, were there? Just walkers, but none of the key actors or players in this.
No, there were no humans that were killed in this episode. So
Warning Signs is tomorrow night. We're just gonna have to wait and see what appears on our TV screen. I'm actually looking at the Walking Dead Wikipedia page, and viewers from the season premiere was 6.10 million. For last week's episode was 4.95 million. So that is a huge decrease. Huge decrease.
It is, and that's not good. For a show that has been as highly rated as The Walking Dead has been, that's not good.
I'm gonna predict right now that episode 5, and if they do promote it as Rick's last season, I think that's going to be the highest rated out of all the shows. Highest rated. Because people's going to watch Rick die. People's going to be taking interest on how he dies. And I think that's going to be the highest rated. And then I think after that, there might be a few more episodes, but it won't be up in the 27 million people or some out there number. But let's say episode 5. Going on the fact that Rick is going to die in that episode, I could see probably maybe 10 to 12 million people watching it. But coming out, probably season episode 6, I'd say probably maybe 6 or 7. And then it'll probably just continue to drop through there. That is my prediction. 8:51, October 20th. October 20th. 2018, mark it down in your books. I'm going to be right. I'm going to be right on the ratings prediction, and that is being very, very conservative in those numbers.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, geez. All right, so I think we're going to end it on that note. Again, make us. Have some meat on the bone tomorrow night and make us want to watch what happens. Make us want to watch.
Yes.
Make us want to watch, because it's a good show and I hate to see it, end so crappy. Before I end this, I got to say, do you, as of right now, I'm going to tell you my opinion. I'm going to throw it to you. I don't want a season 10. As of right now, I do not want a season 10. I want season 9 to be the last season. You feel the same way, Henry? I don't want to lead you. I don't want to force you to feel the same way, but for me, I think season 9 should end it.
I agree with you because if it's going to be this, mediocre, that's kind of the word that I would use to describe the second episode. It was very mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't, and listen, they can improve this. They can fix this if they want to, if they choose to.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I agree. Season 9, I think season 8 should have been the last season.
Yeah.
After the defeat of Negan, they have a little epilogue, and then where they have the time jumps. They could have done that. They could have done that with the season finale of season 8. They could have had the defeat of Negan, the aftermath, and then the epilogue.
Mm-hmm.
Although, but of course they had to go the dark route with Maggie and Daryl kind of plotting and planning.
Yeah, what's becoming of that? I mean, that was like dropped after the season finale of that. I mean, going into this season, it's like, okay, maybe they had a little hope with the whole, Maggie and Jesus and Daryl conspiring against Rick. That right there, I think that was probably pretty good if they would have focused more on that. And we haven't heard anything more about that in this season.
Yeah, I mean, what is going on with that, and why? What did Maggie and did Maggie and Daryl's minds change within that year and a half? All of a sudden, yeah. Why haven't they followed up with that storyline? See, that's the thing. There's no consistency.
Yeah.
Inconsistency.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
no freaking consistency whatsoever. I think that would have spiced things up more. That would have made me more excited for this season.
Mm-hmm.
If they explored that. They should explore that. And they're not doing that.
Yeah.
And it's dragging the show down.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's little bit of that with Maggie still having it out for Rick because he didn't kill Negan. But I mean, going on to that whole plan of, okay, let's conspire against Rick and get him from power, that has not been brought up in these 2 episodes. I mean, are they going to wait until episode 5 to bring that out? Are they just going to magically come out of that and say, oh, wait a minute, we forgot that big cliffhanger in episode 16 of season 8. We better bring that back. Because what's the point? What's the point of doing that if he's going to die in episode 5 and they don't even, bring that up in between time?
I know. I mean, it's frustrating. It's so freaking frustrating because they had a great opportunity to have this great storyline, this great, side storyline besides the rebuilding and everything and the new beginning and all that stuff. They have Rick, they have Maggie, Daryl, and Jesus over here. Making their plans and maybe showing a little bit of dissension. There hasn't been that much dissension between Rick and Daryl and Rick and Maggie.
No. I mean, we had that whole great scene with Maggie holding Herschel and talking about the whole thing, and it's like, no, wait a minute. Who is she holding? Was she holding Judith?
No, it was Herschel. You're
Herschel.
talking about
Okay,
the
yeah, it
season
was
premiere.
Herschel. Yeah. I mean, we had that whole scene between Rick and Maggie, and Maggie never hold. The only whole grudge she hold was that he didn't kill Negan, but we don't see anything. Some dissension between, like you said, between Rick and Daryl, for an example, or Rick and Jesus, for an example. Or Rick and Maggie. I mean, we saw little. She was hesitant at first, and trying to, lift her own weight or something. But the whole storyline between this whole group, Rick, Maggie, and Daryl, and Rick, and Jesus, Maggie, and Daryl, conspiring against Rick. I think that would have been a great storyline this season, and they haven't touched on that, and it's like, why not? It would have been great to touch on that, especially since it's Rick's final episodes. You have say, hey, maybe Maggie or Daryl or Jesus punts Rick in some danger, and then he dies, and and then you see the three people, Jesus, Maggie, and Daryl, talking over, saying, hey, this was not supposed to happen. We just wanted him out of power. We didn't want him to die. I think that would have been great.
You know what I like to call that? A missed opportunity.
Yeah.
That's what that is. It's a missed opportunity. Why didn't they do a follow-up on that?
Yeah.
It is a missed opportunity.
I mean, it's 2 episodes in, they haven't done anything unless they're waiting until episode 5 to, drag bring this back up again. But yeah, what happened in those 18 months of that whole dissension between Maggie, Rick, and Jesus and Daryl.
I mean,
it's like, did they forget about that? Or was that just because Maggie was pregnant at the time and she was having hormonal problems, and after the pregnancy she decided not to? It's like, what? Oh man. But yeah, I would have liked to see that. I would have liked to see that whole conspire against Rick and try to, at least take him out of power somehow. They didn't have to kill him off. I mean, they could have just, say, hey, Rick, we know what, you're going to do things your way, we're going to do things that way. But
like I say, missed opportunity. I would have loved to have seen, some conflict between, with Rick and Daryl and Maggie. I would have loved to see that.
Yeah.
But we're not seeing that. I mean, who dropped the ball on that? That's my question.
When Maggie, and at the season finale of that, Maggie said, we're going to lie and play our cards right and all that. Well, they had 18 months to play their cards right. I mean, right out of the gate in episode 1, that should have been the starting point of this whole dissension between Maggie and Rick. That right there should have been, have a scene in the first episode saying, okay, you know what, with Daryl and Jesus, have a scene saying, you know what, we gave Rick the chance in those 18 months and he still hasn't delivered. So we're going to start doing things our own way. And then, have that, don't have this whole subplot with, Gregory, try to get back into power. No, what they needed to do was have Gregory be the starting point of Maggie's dissension against Rick. have Maggie hang Gregory in cold blood, and show Rick watching it and say, and then have a scene maybe between Maggie and Rick and say, hey, you know what? We did your things your way. It's not going, so we're going to start doing my way. And the beginning is with Gregory. We hang him, and you're not going to have any say so about it. That right there would have been boom, epic.
It absolutely would have. And like I say, yeah, I do a face palm because they have so many missed opportunities.
Yeah.
They had a great opportunity to have a great storyline, which would have kept viewers tuning in.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think for 1 minute that there weren't fans that didn't remember that storyline, that little side storyline.
Well, here's the thing. They had the Walking Dead marathon going on leading up to the new episode. And the very last episode was the exact same thing. It was the whole, conspire against Rick and try to get him out of power. That's going to put it in their mind. It's like, okay, when's this conspiracy going to happen? I mean, right out of the starting gate, they should have started with that, leading up to Rick's final death.
I mean, Daryl and Maggie, they're not even trying to slow Rick down, much less conspire against him.
Yeah. I mean, like right out of season 1, they should brought the 3 people back in the group and, can just say, hey, you know what, like I said, start the conspiracy right then and there. Let's try and slow Rick down, slow him down at first. And then we see Rick, trying to overcome all that. And then, then Maggie comes up with another idea of slowing Rick down. And then, just keep going like that. But, man, I mean, they can have good ideas. The Walking Dead crew can have good ideas. But it's like they execute it poorly. It seems like the editing is weird, and they edit shows in a weird way. Sometimes the writing can't be good. It's like, bring in new people. Maybe that's why it's getting stale. I mean, it's been the same people since season 1. Bring in new people. Try to freshen up the show a bit.
See, this is why they should hire us.
I know, exactly. AMC, call us up. We're giving you good ideas right now. It's like, take them. We'll give you these ideas for free if you use them. Jeez.
Yeah.
I don't want no compensation from you. Take these ideas. If you're working at AMC on The Walking Dead and you listen to this, and take these freaking ideas and expand on them. Make them good.
I watched a video on YouTube called "The Day the Walking Dead Died," and the individual who made the video argues that the day the Walking Dead died was the season 6 finale.
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
Because once they introduced Negan, I mean, yeah, he's cool and everything, and he took over the show. He was the charismatic guy, and everybody, he was the villain, but everybody liked him because he's so charismatic.
Mm-hmm.
He was about one of the only highlights of those seasons. To be
I'm gonna say that Jeffrey Dean Morgan saved season 7 and 8. If Negan wasn't in those 2 seasons, I would have tapped out.
Yeah, I agree.
And here's the thing: when Rick dies, let Negan take over. Please let Negan take over. That's the only that's the only way I'll watch if Negan takes over. Jeez. But God, see, episode 3 is tomorrow, and I don't want to hold my breath because I might pass out. But hopefully it's a good one. I'm being highly optimistic here, but hopefully it's a good one. Hopefully it's not another filler episode. And it seems like I don't want to get off to a tangent because I want to wrap up. But it seems like between 1 and 5 is just going to be filler episodes up until Rick's death. I'm thinking that's how it's going to be. It's going to be filler episodes.
Yeah, I know. It just sucks. It absolutely sucks that we have, like I said, missed opportunities. Missed
Yeah.
opportunities. Come on, AMC.
Yeah.
Get on the ball.
We know it's your cash cow, AMC, so at least do something to spice it up. And here's the thing. I always joke that Daryl was going to die. Daryl was going to die. And people are like, no, don't kill off Daryl. He's a popular character. I mean, first off, I don't think no one would care at this point if Daryl dies, to be honest with you. I don't think if Daryl dies tomorrow, I don't think no one would care, to be honest with you. I
Well,
don't think no one would care.
except for the fangirls.
Yeah, the
They're the
hardcore fangirl. But
yeah.
I'm talking about, the average people like us that's fans of the show that doesn't, rely on that. If Daryl died tomorrow, I don't think no one would care. I think it would be like, oh my gosh, no way. How could they do this? And then that's it. Because Daryl, his popularity is dwindling, I believe. It's like he's like season 5 Daryl compared to season 9 Daryl, completely different Daryls. If they killed Daryl off in season 5, yeah, people would have had a hissy fit over that. But if they were to kill him off tomorrow, I don't think there'd be much of a backlash.
I'm more invested in characters like Aaron and Jesus. I like Aaron. I like Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And the new guy, Alden, the newest guy, one of the newest guys,
Yeah.
him and Sadiq.
Yeah.
These guys,
Mm-hmm.
Alden, the ex-savior, now he's working with Maggie at the Hilltop.
Mm-hmm.
So, but, yeah, hey, you can fix this, AMC. You can fix this. Missed opportunities, come on.
Yeah, absolutely. But the question is does AMC want to fix it? Do they really want to fix the problem? And it seems like they don't want to fix it. They just want to, play it safe. They're playing it safe. And it's got to the point where you can't play safe anymore. You're going to have to grab them by the balls and do something. Do something. Because them killing off Glenn was just a momental moment in the series. Because, Glenn's been a fixation since season 1. And them killing off Glenn was, really good way to spice the show up. But, nothing, after the death of Glenn, it's like, yeah, they haven't done nothing really ballsy anymore.
Well, and Glenn's death is obviously based on the comic. That's how it happened in the comics as well. So.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I said, it was a ballsy move killing Glenn off, and they need the balls back and start it up again. But I think we'll the title of the show. I think we'll cross the bridge when we get to it, and hopefully tomorrow night is good. I wanted to be.
By the way, no pun intended, because last week's episode was called The Bridge. You said we crossed that bridge.
But yeah. So yeah, I'm nervous. I'm nervous for tomorrow night. I'm like,
I know. Yeah.
It's like I'm going to man up and I'm going to watch the show and it's like man. So yeah, so tomorrow night is Warning Signs, and I don't know if that's foreshadowing. It's like, okay, we're going. All right, guys, it's gonna be crappy. Here's the warning sign. This season's gonna be crappy for the rest of the season. But yeah, Warning Signs is next week, and then the Ablage. Yeah, tomorrow night, and next week is the Ablage. And then episode 5 is what comes after.
Yeah.
And so after that episode, the Webcasting Dead won't be back until episode 8. So the 25th is when it airs. So December 1st is when we'll be back.
Yep.
So let's see. So we'll do episode 3 on the 27th next week. Episode 4 is going to be on the 3rd of November, and then episode 5 is going to be on the 10th of November, and then we're gonna wait until the mid-season finale and go from there.
Yeah.
Now, unless they pull a miracle out of their ass, yeah. So unless between 6 and 7, if 6 and 7 is a really good episode worth discussing, then I think we should probably do that. If 6 and 7 is worth discussing, then maybe we'll do like a special on either episode depending on which episode it is. But if it's not worth discussing, we'll just wait until the mid-season finale to discuss 6, 7, and then 8.
Yeah.
All right. If you're happy with that, I'm happy with that.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So yeah. So we're gonna end it. We'll see you here next week, and let's hope and pray that it's a decent, good, worthwhile episode, and not just filler and boring. But yeah, we're gonna end it. We'll see you here next week with episode 3, Warning Signs. Good night, everybody.